Heyo, my Planet Coaster friends, Channel5 Alive here, and I'm very excited to announce our next coaster contest. And we'll also be showcasing some coasters in today's video, so if you're not here for the contest, be sure to tune in for the coasters. So stay tuned, and let's check it out. All right, welcome back, everybody. If you guys are new here, be sure to smash that subscribe button. If you end up enjoying the video and the contest idea, smash that like button. And these contests would not be possible without the help and support of the patrons. So if you guys enjoy these contests and want more of them in 2020, be sure to check out the link down below and you can support the show further there. And if Patreon is not your thing, there is a new subscriber plus option on YouTube, and it's going to give you guys some added benefits. I am setting the minimum and maximum amount donation for the subscriber program on YouTube at $2, and with that you guys will be able to earn subscriber badges and emotes for the channel's comment section, and only for this channel's comment section. So one thing I thought would be fun for all you viewers who are not able to play Planet Coaster or just fans of the show, you can now work your way through the ranks from new builder to advanced, expert, master, and even legend by staying subscribed to the YouTube channel. And the more subscribers we get, the more YouTube gives me additional features and ways to give back to you guys. So we have some fun custom emotes that are available if you become a subscriber. And as a bonus, I will be looking into doing Q&A and exclusive private videos for subscribers only every month. And I believe there is a way to give you guys access to videos early. I'm going to be looking into it as the moment we start have subscribers coming in. And that means like the Dragon Quest series, for example, every other daily uploads up to 50 something episodes. And that means as a subscriber, you should hopefully have access to all of that immediately if you want to binge watch. And in terms of Planko, obviously you'd be able to watch the entire week's videos early on Monday. And any other video games that I'm putting up, there should hopefully be early access. That's something I'm going to look into more, but it seems like it is a feature, and if I can get it to work, I'm definitely going to drive that for anyone who becomes a subscriber to get the early access to the videos, because I definitely think that would be a great perk to give back to you guys. So if you're not interested in Patreon, there is that option to join the subscriber program on YouTube. Check out the join button down below. And with that out of the way, let's dive into Channel5 Gaming's next contest, which is the Dueling Coaster contest. That is right, it is a versus contest, and holy moly, this is going to be a ton of fun. There's so many creative ideas that you could do with this. As you guys can see, I've been playing some B-roll of a coaster in the background, which is a dueling coaster. We're going to take a closer look in that in just a bit and give it a full spotlight, because I think it is a near perfect blueprint version of our contest. But before we go ahead and feature H2O versus fire, let's take a closer look at the contest rules. And please do stay tuned to the video portion of this where we go look at coasters, what we're looking for with the contest and what we're not looking for, as it's definitely going to give you an edge and help you create creatively, as well as just make sure you do it all correctly. So let's dive on into the contest rules. So here we are, ladies and gentlemen, the Channel5 Gaming Dueling Coaster Contest, and just gonna read it all out here. Channel5 Gaming's first Dueling Coaster Contest. Dueling coasters are an interacting battle between 2, 3, or 4 of your favorite characters or themes from movies, games, etc. Think, for example, Mario versus Bowser, Batman versus Joker, Missy Goods versus Hot Dog Squad versus Tiki versus Chief Beef if you really want. All coasters will be voted on by the public to determine the winners. No judges this time. The viewers are the judges. With that said, I want to give you guys a few quick examples of where you could drive your creativity and what we're looking for in terms of the description of this contest. So as mentioned, you could do Mario versus Bowser, but if that's not enough to tickle your fancy, how about Mario and Luigi versus Bowser and Wario? Think of two coasters dueling two other coasters. As long as they're all part of a sequence and a coaster chain, you are good to go. You can have two coasters on the left, two coasters on the right. They're all duking it out and battling as a giant free-for-all or a team battle, a 2v2. As mentioned, you could do something a little bit zany. How about our moderators, the hot dogs versus the missy goods, hot dogs versus donuts? That is a total fun Planko theme if you want to go there, and also a fun Discord theme. Or maybe you want to do something a little bit more eccentric, a little bit something more vague, fire versus water, which is something you're going to see in today's video in the spotlight, something like that. And if you want to take it to the next level, add in wind and earth and have the four elements duking it out, much like the park spotlight we just featured this weekend, but in coaster form. Or how about you want to do something more of a trio? The Battletoads. You have three coasters. The Battletoads are traditionally all brothers in combat, and they're going to kick butt together. Well, how about the three of them just kick butt and interact with a trio dueling coaster? Another trio is Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles. That's a pretty fun one. Vibrant colors, red tracks for Knuckles, blue tracks for Sonic, yellow tracks for Tails, and you could even do some amazing scenery. Make it 2D if you want. They're going up the rings, doing spins, and throwing all sorts of cool little side-scroller elements like you would see from the classic Sega games, or make it completely 3D. It is up to you, but that is a very good example, in my opinion, of a triple dueling coaster. You could go into Marvel or DC universe, do some Batman versus Joker. There's some really fun colors you can come up with there. You could build, the Bat Cave underneath Wayne Manor. That's your boarding station. The Batwing comes flying out of the waterfall and it heads over to Arkham City, where you have Joker wreaking havoc on everyone else, and the two coasters meet up in the city and duke it out. How about that for an idea? And I'm sure you guys can think of many, many more. You're not limited to characters. You can come up with something a little bit more abstract, like we said, with elements. Whatever you can think up is allowed, so long as your theming is amazing and sells what we're looking at. If I can't tell what is battling what, then you have not done a good job. So you have to make sure it is very clear. We know what we're looking at. So let's go into the rules further to help you decipher those differences. So we have a little disclaimer here. Your creation must meet a certain quality standard to be recorded, edited, and released on the channel. You got to respect my time, the moderator's time, and everybody that's putting effort into this. So if you just whip something up in an afternoon, that is not sufficient enough considering the timeline we're giving you. So if we don't feel your creation meets a certain quality standard, we are not obligated to feature it. We have some examples in the forum. The forum will be posted in Discord, not on YouTube. So if you're a YouTuber and you want to look at this rules page for yourself and click on these examples, come join us on Discord. Links are down in the description below. The contest will run from February 2nd, which is today, to March 31st. That gives you a full 2 months plus some change. That means this is officially the longest time we've ever given for a contest, even longer than the Exploration Coaster contest. So you have plenty of time to do your best. 8 weeks. Let's go. Videos will be recorded, edited, and released as coaster spotlights as quickly as I'm able to produce them. So full personal videos here again. We will be doing brackets, and at the end of every bracket, a voting form will be released in Discord. And possibly even the YouTube videos. Yes, because we want the viewers to also fill out the form. So there will be a post in the community tab on YouTube, and you guys will get to vote on your favorite creation of that series, of that bracket. And then the winners will be announced all at the end of the contest. Since this contest is so demanding, every first, second, and third place winner of each bracket will receive a Steam game of their choice from our prize pool of over 350 games. And I have a backlog of games from Humble. That number's about to jump to 450, I think. So I'm gonna have to go in and update the prize pool with a whole bunch of new games, and I got some really, really good new games to hand out to you guys. So there's gonna be some really great prizes, and I'm sure there's going to be more winners than just first, second, and third. We'll probably give out some bonus surprise winners for best of and things like that. So let's break it down into the contest rules. Only one submission per member. No one is stopping you from getting help on collaborating on a coaster. No redecorating of existing coasters on the workshop or other people's. You have to create this coaster from scratch. So if we do notice that this is a recognizable track that's been used before, it will be disqualified and will not even be featured. You can use the workshop, don't abuse it. You must make the actual coaster yourself. File rules. You're going to submit it as a park file. No full parks. This is the contest about dueling coasters, not about an end-to-end park. You must set up your pathing, your cues, your decorations, and make it presentable for a spotlight. The coaster should be functional. Your coaster must be tested, all ready to view the stats. The coaster stats must be in acceptable ranges so the guests will ride it. So think of this park file, this whole area, as your playground to introduce your dueling coasters. We're coming into your park map as a guest. We're walking down a pathway and we see a plaza. At the end of that plaza, we see two signs, Batman versus Joker. Which coaster am I going to go on? And we have this beautiful Batman or a Batwing or a Wayne Manor. And we have a Gotham City or Arkham Island to the right. And we see Joker, and all these lights and all sorts of stuff and mayhem and anarchy. And we're going, wow, which way am I going to go? Am I going to go to Wayne Manor or am I going to go to Arkham Island? We want that beautiful revealing shot selling your two coasters so we immediately know what the two coasters are, battling it out, and we get to make a decision on what we're going to ride first. So with that said, you can have flat rides out front. If you want to theme a spinning bat flat ride or a Joker flat ride and just put it over there for aesthetic reasons, you could do that, but save that stuff for the very, very end. If your coaster is finished and it's to the best of your ability and it's themed immaculately, work on the mini park surrounding it after. Make a food court if you want. Make a couple flat rides if you so choose. But that's not going to be judged. It's only going to add to the ambience of inviting you into your coasters. And because it's a park file, that does mean you're going to be able to do terrain work. You'll be able to make a bat cave and a waterfall and a Wayne Manor at the top of a hill with pathing and driveways. You'll be able to do all that, but this is not an exploration coaster contest, so we don't want your coasters going end to end around the whole entire park. So I think I've made that clear. Let's move on. Dueling coasters. That means any coaster is allowed. Just think about what would give a memorable ride experience. A bobsled is not recommended because, for example, you can't see the other coaster. It's all about the interaction. You want to juke and jive with the other coaster and see it. So this also does mean you can mix and match your coasters. Maybe the Batman coaster is a winged falcon coaster and the Joker coaster is, I don't know, a torqued launch coaster. I'm sure you guys can come up with more creative uses for your decisions. As long as they're all part of a coaster train, you can have multiple different looking coasters. Mobius style coasters are allowed, but having only one station adds additional difficulty in timing the coaster as well as making each track feel thematically different. This is something I went back and forth with on the guys while we were planning this contest. I want you to be very careful if you're taking the Mobius style. So if you're wondering what that is, if you look back at the Chief Beef Raceway that I did or any of the raceway coasters that we featured on the show, it's one station and it goes around and it meets back up and does a second lap. So you effectively ride the second coaster without leaving the station. That means it's one giant synchronized coaster doing essentially 2 laps, but it's going to make it extremely difficult because you're not going to be able to swap your trains. You're not going to be able to have different tracks per coaster. You're not going to be able to color the cars to match the character or the theme. It's going to be one continuous track. You'll be able to change the track color on the second lap, but you will not be able to do any more than that. You have to be extremely skilled to pull off something very good and have them timed flawlessly. So you're taking a big risk by doing a Mobius coaster if you do not do it correctly. And it also means you have one boarding station. That means there's going to be no Arkham Island and there's going to be no Wayne Manor. It's only one or the other, and that reduces your creativity and the wow factor. So just be careful, but we wanted to allow it for those people who have a really good idea in mind. The coasters have to be dueling. We We do not want racing coasters. So going back to the Chief Beef Raceway that I made, which was a Mobius style coaster, it was simply racing around. They weren't going over top each other. They were just simply changing lanes. So there was a little bit of passover, but we want to see some inversion, some crossover, maybe corkscrewing around one another. The coasters have to be interacting, crossover, flyover, and come to a near collision with each other. We do not want two identical layouts placed side by side, so we do not want any mirror matched coasters either. Both tracks have to be unique. Multiple dueling coasters are allowed up to 4. After coaster design, theming is the next and most important aspect to the contest. Make sure your boarding stations represent the theme you have picked for each dueling side. So for example, you want Batman versus Joker, you'll see them depart from the Batcave or Joker's hideout. If you want to go with a Mobius, you have to represent both at the boarding station, which is going to be much more difficult yet again. During the ride, the 2, 3, 4 themes have to interact with one another, the scenery as well. In our Batman versus Joker example, you could have them fighting out in Gotham City whilst also showing us more Batman and Joker. Use any existing IP is perfectly fine, however, we will not take any copywritten music in the spotlight video. So just try to use something that works really good that comes with Planet Coaster, please. Theme Maker Toolkit items are allowed for this contest. Just make sure that they complement the overall theme and not just put down 8 Batman animatronics to call it a day. Theme Maker Toolkit can be used to enhance a creative build to the next level, or they can also stand out like a sore thumb if your overall theming is lacking apart from the theme. So try to make some stuff your own with basic shapes. Try to be creative. Make your own custom sign. That's why we're giving you a park file and we're not limiting you to 4K, because we want to see gigantic handmade Batman signs. And if you want to download a Batmobile from the workshop, go ahead and do that. We're going to allow that, but it should accent what you've created and not overwhelm it. Entrance, plazas, and queues. Besides an amazing dueling coaster, we want a nice plaza for your coaster, fully decorated and leading into your coaster. I talked a bit of that earlier. Make a sick-looking entrance and queue. Look at custom signs and fonts. We really want custom signs and fonts. Really hit that home. A well-decorated and on-theme queue is integral to the overall experience. I will be walking down the queues in the videos, so be sure to do a nice job with that. And with that said, we're gonna have guests in the park, so please have a park limit set to like 500. Should be reasonable. We don't want super laggy files. If I open up your park and you've let it run for 8 years while you're building your coaster and there's 7,000 people in the park, now I gotta kick them out and you're wasting my time. Again, please respect my time, as I do not have to feature it if I see a reason not to. So set a park limit to 500. Do a good job of your queues so that there's guests lined up and we can go through the queue with them and experience what it's like to go on your dueling coaster experience. The coaster ride experience, make sure to ride your coasters in POV, track view, and cinematic to ensure one of them shows off your creation to the fullest. If there's a particular view you feel highlights your creation the best, feel free to note it in the submission form. I know someone's gonna ask, can we do the 8-meter smoothing method? I don't really see a reason to do it, and I would rather you didn't. I really don't like the 8-meter smoothing method because the whole point of a simulation is to simulate you sitting in seat view, and those do not work in seat view, as well as they don't work well in cinematic. So if we're going to ride your coasters, I want to ride it in seat view, and I want to also check it out in cinematic. If I have to ride these in track view and they're dueling, I don't get that full dueling experience. So I'd highly recommend staying away from the 8-meter smoothing method, please. Due to having multiple coasters to record per submission, we will not be making both day and night POVs of every single coaster. If your creation is best seen at day or night, please note it in the submission form. And to skip having to note it in the submission form, please just use the day-night sequencer. If we're right, and with that, we can also ride your coaster at day and night if you use the day-night sequencer. So if you want Batman to be out at nighttime and you want Joker to be out at daytime, just use the day-night sequencer to ensure that that happens. And then I don't have to switch the time of day for every single submission, and you guys can control that experience for us. So that'd be much appreciated. So take advantage of that, and you will have control over it. That way you won't be getting mad at me if I accidentally make a mistake by setting it to 6 a.m. when you said 6 p.m. Custom images, billboards, videos, and user theme kit creations are allowed. Please put everything into a Google Drive zip folder, call it media files, have a link on your workshop page. I will be mass downloading all the images and dropping them into one folder. If anything goes wrong, I will not be bothering to fix it, so be sure you tested it all right and you've set it up all right. Please keep all the files PG and appropriate for YouTube. Pretty straightforward. If I find something inappropriate, I will not be featuring it. No custom audio is allowed, simply too many headaches with copyright claims. Please pick an appropriate song from the audio library. Please do add created for the Channel 5 Gaming Dueling Coaster contest on your Steam page at the top so we can inform more people and get the word out that Channel 5 Gaming is doing these contests. It'd be nice and considerable if you credit people's work. So if you use something from the Steam Maker Toolkit or you downloaded somebody's Batmobile, put it down in the description of your Steam page. There'll be a link to the games. I still have to update that, as I mentioned earlier. And judging will be up to the Discord and viewers for every single bracket, and the voting form will be posted in Discord and the community comments of YouTube. And you will, as a voter, you will get to pick your top 3 picks. First place earns 3 points, second place earns 2, and third place earns 1 point. The points will all be tallied up and shown publicly. And with that said, there will probably be some bonuses. If I have an overall favorite or something stands out to me, I might come up with some brackets and additional bonus winners along the way. We'll just have to see how it goes. All right, so that's a lot of stuff that we just went through. Let's dive into game and show you guys some examples. All right, we're gonna do a full-fledged feature of H2O versus Fire Dueling Coaster, created by Bugle, one of our Discord advanced builders. And here they say, hello, deep in the jungle lies a temple, home of the Aztec brothers, Atlan, meaning water, and Tatla, meaning fire. These two brothers are extremely jealous of each other and resulting in an endless fight to who is most powerful. Join Tiata and Atlan no mercy, or become Atlan's companion and cool down Tiata with some water. Ride at night in seat view for the best experience. Day rides also very nice in seat view. This is for both coasters. Each coaster has its own unique track, yet they're synchronized with interactions between the two coasters. Keep your antidotes ready, tie up your heart, and get ready for a fight. Oh yeah! Can you find the missing golden chest? Easter egg. Cheers, Bugle. All right, so this is a perfect example. I think we're here. Let's take a closer look at it. Here we are. We're actually gonna ride fire at night and water at day. They're pulling into the station right now. But as a contest example, beautiful sign out front, custom sign. Now this is a blueprint, so what we're looking for, you can go way more elaborate than this. This is just a simple blueprint from Bugle with 4K. Simple, I mean, it's very complicated, but simple in terms of 4K. You guys have unlimited creativity, so it could go much further out. It could be much wider. It doesn't have to be as compact. But this is a great example in blueprint form. These are dueling coasters that are unique tracks that are also interacting, and they have their own unique flames, and they're duking it out. And there's a backstory. So let's jump on to the water coaster. There is, ladies and gentlemen. Here's a look at it at nighttime. A shining example of what we're looking for in this contest in blueprint form. So again, if we could actually take this one step further, if Bugle had more than 4,000 pieces to work with and he was doing the contest and this was a part of it, we would have had this closer to the park somewhere here, you know, guests coming in, plaza area. Maybe we have some hot treats to the side, or some hot treats to one side and some cool drinks to the other, and you know, whatever you want there. Some beautiful water fountains, some fiery molten moats going around a food court, and then we have the beautiful fire sign and the water sign. This is kind of just merged all into one, so definitely can be taken up a notch. But as we can see from the coaster, it rode very well. Now, again, this is 2 RMCs. It does not have to be RMCs. One of them could have been a wooden coaster. One of them could have been a Stingray Mantra for the water, whereas the fire one was a hot burning RMC as the steel gets nice and hot. And yeah, some really good elements here. As you can see, they were side by side coming over this hill, perfectly synchronized, but then they diverge. They split up. And here they go, doing their own thing, meeting back up again, interacting down here, going their own separate ways again, to only meet up right here, crisscrossing over one another, and back to being synchronized and pulling into the boarding station. Phenomenal work on this, Bugle. Can't believe we still have you in advance. Please do apply for the workshop review. You're doing some amazing stuff. And that was a shining example. Here's another one from one of our moderators and Missy Goods, none other than Floss. We've already featured this one. I'll have a link down in the description below, and it's also in the rules form if you want to take a closer look and ride this one. But we have a full spotlight already done on this, so yeah, just go check out that video once you're done here. So we have Jekyll and Hyde. One side's the calm, collected side, and then the other side is all about chaos and destruction. And we could see that between the two coasters. And again, they're interacting, but one is doing the more traditional coaster drops, whereas the other one is doing more of a chaotic RMC. We have a wooden coaster, we have an RMC. One is doing inversions while the other is not. One is full of chaos, one is not. So it's a very good example with this one here. As you can see, the Hyde coaster is all over the place doing crazy things. It is out of control, whereas the Jekyll coaster is a little bit more tamed but still exhilarating. So a very good example from one of our legend builders, Floss. Now I have a couple more here, and I was waiting to put them down, and apparently I have not subscribed to it, so hopefully it pops up here. Boom, there it is. So this is one of Zayfor's creations, and it is absolutely amazing. So I don't want to pick on Zayfor or anything, but he did bring it up that he did do a dueling coaster, and I actually want to use this as an example for different various reasons. So as you can see here, these are 2 coasters that are interacting, dancing, and they are quite phenomenal. And the way he's done it is very interesting, where the stations are in front of each other, but yeah, the way this ends up working is that the 2 coasters are... I don't even have the 2 coasters working. All right, so while this is a very fun dueling coaster, you can kind of see that it's called Glacier Valley Twist. It's one theme. It's the Glacier Valley Twist. They're coming up the hill together. They're dropping down. They're doing almost like a skateboard thing. Then they come around and they do a little dance on the ice there. They come back down, and they're always synchronized, doing splashes and all sorts of things. While it is a absolutely wonderful coaster with a beautiful song and dance between the two, it is one cohesive theme, not a versus theme. And that's what we really want to hit with this coaster contest, is the versus factor. This is an amazing dueling coaster experience, but there's not 2 themes. So keep that in mind. We want that something on the left, something on the right. We want this versus. Each coaster has to be distinguishable from the other, whereas here they are not indistinguishable. They are one. So this is a good example of what to avoid. However, if we just take this coaster, color this one differently, and have a different boarding station for each, and we call one, you know, the Dancing Donuts, and we call the other one the Dancing Dogs, something a little bit different between them along the way, interaction between the 2, but then some separation, then you can actually modify this to be a little bit more towards what we're looking for. but I think it's a good example of like, don't just duel coasters for the sake of dueling coasters. Come up with that thematic theme of Batman versus Joker. That's why we gave such extreme opposite examples. But again, you could do something like the 3 Battletoads, which are all technically the same. They're all brothers in arms, but they are different. They have characteristics that separate them. They're all different tones of green, and they all use different weapons, and they have their personalities. Or like Double Dragon's another good example of 2 brothers duking it out, but they are different from one another. So here's another kind of bad example that we want to show off here, but also a very good idea, and you could take elements from this idea. So this is the Pegasus and Bellerophon from Fricker, one of our legend builders. Now, the way this coaster works is extremely unique because they are on the same track opposite. So one coaster's on top and one's below, and you'll see this happen here. I don't know if they're perfectly in sync right now. I think I got to run it through once, so give me a sec. Oh, here we go. The second ones are coming out. So one is inverted and one is a floorless. But this is essentially racing coasters. They're not dueling, they're not battling, they're on the same identical track at all times. And one's always trying to hold on to the other like it's riding a Pegasus. And it's a very cool concept, but it is essentially the same coaster. It's essentially a mirrored coaster. It's identical, and that is not what we're looking for. But if you want to do that, you have to diverge them at some point and link them back up. So the idea of having an inverted coaster riding underneath a floorless coaster is allowed, so long as they're also unique in their own way. So we do have an example of that, I think. Let me pull it up. This is the Emerald Eye versus Golden Wing, created by Fire Mind Creature. And the way this one works is they are 2 separate coasters, and they're not mirrored. You can see this one's doing different things than this one, and they diverge. But at this point, at the very center, they connect together and they become one, as you can see the track here, which is a very cool concept. So unlike what Fricker did, where it's the same the whole way through, this is different the whole way through, but the same sometimes. And that's where you get some really cool interaction between the 2 coasters, as you can see here. Look at that. They become one for a second, and then they split back off and they become divided. And they're both themed differently. I think the theming could be pushed a little bit further on this one. It's just kind of like one's yellow and one's green. They representing by different, one's an emerald eye and one's a golden wing. So there's not a whole lot there other than one's gold and one's emerald. I think there could be a lot more theming involved here. So it is something to think about, but I still think it's a fairly good example in terms of the coaster track design. Other than that, we have some examples in the submission form that you could take a closer look at, so be sure to do that. And I think I pretty much covered anything. If you guys have any additional questions, comments, throw them down in the comment section below, but especially if you're competing in the contest, be sure to contact myself or the moderator team. They will be able to help you with all your questions. So a very fun contest indeed. Shout out to Buchel for this amazing creation. He did not even build this for the contest. We did all the coaster picks last night, and we saw this, and I thought, oh, this is perfect. So now I decided to give it a full feature here. Great example from Floss here. We don't have a whole lot of examples, but you guys get the point, and it's a really cool concept in terms of a coaster contest, and that's why we're giving you 2 months. We want to see the theming through the roof. I want this to be the best coaster contest we've ever featured, and the fact that it's 2 coasters dueling, or 3, or even 4, I'm sure you guys will have the craziest ideas, and I can't wait to see what you guys come up with. So get your pictures posted in Discord. We'll have a nice little contest room where you can share your creations, talk, ask questions, and all that good stuff. So come check us out on Discord, everybody. And once again, if you guys enjoy the contest and the video and all that, leave a like, subscribe for more. You do not want to miss this contest. And as I mentioned at the beginning of the episode, if you guys want to see more of these contests and more events like this, please be sure to check out my Patreon page to support the show further, as it does make it a lot easier for us to do this. And my cat is throwing things around my room. And if Patreon's not an option for you, you could do the Join Now button on YouTube, and for a simple $2 a month, you'll get some really cool features. So check that out, you guys. And thank you all so much for being here, watching, participating. Really excited to see what you come up with, and I'll see you in Discord. Bye now.